And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Labour and Jess Phillips have been absolutely grilled as they face fresh backlash from MPs in the Houses of Commons. It has of course been well reported over the last couple of days at the absolute negligence that the Labour government have handled this full national inquiry. We're going to be taking a look at some footage of Jess Phillips getting grilled today, the best bit so to speak, but her attitude, she is absolutely disgusting. She is definitely complicit and of course needs to resign from her position imminently. And whilst I just started recording this video, there has been a third, yes, a third victim quitting the government grooming inquiry panel. Now, we've reported over the last sort of 24 hours that 2 survivors have quit the panel. We've of course seen a chair pull herself out of being a chair for the inquiry, and now, as we've started to record this video, a third victim has quit the government's national grooming gang inquiry. Elizabeth, not her real name, said that she was leaving the panel because she feared there was a lack of genuine understanding of the grooming gang scandal. The Rotherham survivor also pointed out to what she described as a sense of control and stage management that she said had left many of her fellow victims of grooming gangs questioning whether their voices truly matter. Elizabeth secured a conviction against one of her perpetrators, Asghar Bostan, following an investigation by the National Crime Agency. So that takes us to 3, ladies and gentlemen, and this shows what Labour think of this national inquiry. Let's get over to the Commons and, as you can see, and have a watch of this. Watch Jess Phillips refuse to apologise and arrogantly dismiss complaints from survivors who have resigned from the Pakistani grape gang inquiry. Have a watch.
Fiona said this yesterday: I won't be gagged and controlled by the government while they turn this inquiry into a cover-up. So will the Minister apologise to Fiona and to Eliane?
What I would say to the honourable gentleman is that he didn't listen to my remarks at all, because suggesting that the government has silenced anybody is that the government has not handled this process. It has been handled by a grooming gang charity, of which he cites and names a victim of crime. And look, what I will say to the honourable gentleman, which he would know if he had done anywhere near the level of work that I have done, is that not all victims and survivors are of the same opinion. They are not one homogenous group of people who all think the same thing, who all want the same exposure, who all want their identities known. And so what I would say is that I have spoken to Fiona Goddard many times, and I will continue that relationship with her should that be what she wishes. And every single survivor who has been engaged with, of which there have been many, will have different feelings on this subject.
Why is she even involved? Who do you believe? Her, the Labour government and the Home Office, or actual survivors that are telling their real experiences of actually working with these? We don't see unanimously 3 resign. We don't see one per chair not want to get involved because of it. It is absolutely them. They have been dragging their heels for months now because they want to water down this inquiry. That's the truth, and you can see that it is controlled stage management of what they want to do with this whole inquiry. It's clear as day. She is shocking. She is absolute disgrace, and she's up there with Sadiq Khan Kastama as one of the worst MPs I've ever seen in Parliament. She is a horrible, horrible human being, and more to a point, I don't want to make fun of people's looks, but she's got a fucking face that only a mother could love. Let's get over to what Lee Anderson has said. As you can see, Lee Anderson calls out Jess Phillips on grooming gangs again. Jess is furious with Lee's question, but is Lee right? Yes, he is. Jess has a history of obfuscating, dodging, and downplaying this. Look at the thread below and decide for yourself. Let's have a watch of this video quickly.
Lee Anderson. Mr. Speaker, the cover-up continues. We have a Prime Minister who never wanted a national inquiry. We have a Minister who never wanted a national inquiry. And we have the Labour backbenchers who never wanted a national inquiry. So does the Minister agree with me that the victims of these horrific crimes will never get the justice they deserve as long as we have a Labour government in charge.
Minister.
It's quite impressive that you would stand up and say that after a grooming victim stood up and spoke on these benches. But, you know, I've learnt to expect it. When the honourable gentleman stands up and talks about cover-up, I understand that or maybe he's doing it for clicks, I don't know, but I understand that he thinks he's doing, you know, God's work in fighting this. The level of bad faith, the idea that it's easy to find a chair or easy to find people who want to step forward and take part in this process when it is mired in, I have to say, political point scoring like he just did. I have to say, I think that he should really question his own morality.
That is absolutely disgusting. How has she even just come out here and turned it on to that, taking zero accountability? It is clear, and it can be done. It obviously can be done with a competent government that actually wants to make steps forward and actually launch this inquiry and get it done. There's a lot of people that want to be the chair. There is a lot of people, you can find them, definitely. But they are trying to hand cherry pick a chair that will not uncover it. It will be a watered down version and will keep them all safe and secure. And to call Lee Anderson bringing this up as a point of political scoring is an absolute disgrace. It genuinely is. There is no accountability in that individual's eyes, and she certainly is complicit. She doesn't want this. She voted against it, along with those Labour MPs. So I agree with Lee Anderson. As long as the Labour government are in charge, then nothing will be done for those victims. And this is a horrible state of affairs that we found ourselves into. Let's have a look at this thread quickly. Here's a thread reminding people exactly why they shouldn't feel sorry for Jess Phillips, and in fact, Lee was right to question her. Is she a part of the cover-up? Jess was disgusted by the questions, but let's take a look at Jess's track record on this stuff. We see it. On the back of the Labour government rejecting a national inquiry into the biggest scandal of this century, she also refused to meet with Oldham Council. Previously, Oldham Council was Labour and it rejected a local inquiry 6 times. The families of the victims even attended. When Oldham Council finally came out of Labour's control at the last local elections, they pushed for a grooming gang inquiry. Jess wouldn't even meet them. Look what happened the last time Labour's Andy Burnham met them. They all knew it was a cover-up. Let's see it. Who do you believe? The victims and their families, or this Labour government? And Jess Phillips. They are outraged. She's talking about and gaslighting as if victims are different cases. No, they just don't want a watered down version of the inquiry. Yes, some people are going to keep their faces anonymous, and rightfully so. But stop coming out here and saying that they all want to push for a watered down version and they don't want the Pakistani religious people to be found out that it is in this way inclined. She is trying to stage management, damage control. It's clear as day. Jess has a history of downplaying stuff. Remember in Cologne, Germany, where 1,200 women were assaulted by migrants. Jess said that it was just like the average Saturday in Birmingham, nothing unusual at all.
There is violence against women and girls that you are describing. A very similar situation to what happened in Cologne could be described on Broad Street in Birmingham every week, where women are baited and heckled.
She was so outraged by the backlash against this, she blamed the far right. Of course she did. Remember, that's what Labour were doing before.
I think that what I will not let happen is for the far right to use the exploitation of vulnerable girls in this country and what happened in Cologne for their own ends when they've done absolutely nothing about sexual violence and the culture of sexual assault until it fits their purpose. However, I think that what I will not let happen is for the far...
Voice, man. And why do people believe there is a cover-up? Because there's evidence of everywhere. This man met with Jess Phillips to speak about her inquiry into the gang. Later, the meeting minutes had removed as if this didn't happen. So a very, very long thread there, but I think you guys get the point as to this Labour government and what they don't want to do. We're seeing it clear, and just look at them. Look at the way they answer questions in the Houses of Commons, and yeah, it will make all sense. Jess Phillips must resign. She doesn't care for the victims. In fact, the victims are speaking out against her and this Labour government, and these poor victims are not going to get the justice they deserve with the Labour government in charge. Do let me know your thoughts on this down there in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Peace.